Hey everyone, it's Jake and Jake's Metal Chat. Hope you're all well and welcome to another video. And I haven't done one in a while because obviously work and I had gigs and just meeting up with mates and family. I just haven't had time to just sit down and do a new video. But got nothing on this weekend, especially today. So I thought let's get a new video out there, and it's one of many collection updates because I bought so much stuff over the past few weeks or so now, and even people, sending me stuff as well. And I thought for this video, this specific person gets their own video. But before I crack on with that video, like I said, I'm in a different part of my room. I'm usually at my desk doing all my videos, and I might actually, if since all my vinyl and cassettes are here, and it's my other series that I do, the other video series that I do, my main one. Thought I'd do it from here, and I give the full credit to Mark G with a C because he does his videos from different locations as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of different YouTubers do that as well, and I'm thinking it seems like a good idea because I always do it from the same location. So I think it's time for me to switch it up. So, I just credit all those guys for always switching it up and doing videos from different parts of their room. And in all the mess, currently sorting out some washing. So yeah, next time you see a video from this specific angle, you won't see any of that on the bed, and you'll see a lot more posters. But anyway, let's crack on with this video. And I said this is to a specific person. He was on here from 2014 to 2024, and I call him the death metal guru, and there is a reason why I call him that, because his knowledge of death metal was ridiculous, and it still is. Even though he's not on YouTube anymore, a lot of us knew him from watching his videos and even getting the chance to have him on our channels. It's like to interview him, I had him twice, and then also becoming friends with him in the process. And who am I talking about when I say the death metal guru? Well, I'm talking about Ken's death metal Crypt. And he has become one of my friends from doing this, from commenting on his videos, having him twice on my channel because I had him on back in 2020, and then for the last time in June of this year for a live stream chat. Thank you to those who tuned in. I very much appreciate it. And before he shut down his channel and and his Instagram as well, he sent me a message on it asking me if he could send me something. And he's already sent me two other uh, packages. And I thought, why not? And what he sent me and the stuff that he sent me are absolutely incredible. And it's stuff he never released on his channel. And if you want to listen to what he released on his channel when he was still here, I'll tell you what that is near the end of this video. But for those who know, you know. So anyway, welcome to Riffs from the Crypt. And why am I saying that? And why am I calling it that? Why am I calling the video Riffs from the Crypt? Well, is because the two cassettes he sent me are called Riffs from the Crypt, and he has sent me volume 9. and Volume 10. These are 2 cassettes he made for me. And I sent him a message because I'm in contact with him. Sent him a message saying that I received the packages and that I was going to be doing this video. And Ken, if you're watching this, thank you very much for these 2. Both cassettes are awesome. Now before I talk about who's on here, so on Volume 9 we have 4 bands, and on Volume 10 we have 5 bands. And before I talk about these cassettes here, just picking them up again, he sent me 2 other packages which I will talk about quickly. So for this one is his band Unnatural, which I found out when I was getting this video set up and remembering, oh yeah, there's more things as well, that Ted Van Tilburg, who did all the instruments for this band, passed away back in early August, on the 5th of August of this year. So rest in peace, brother. Your legacy lives on these 4 releases, and I'm going to give this another blast. This is Unnatural. This is the compilation, The Afflicted Path to Cursed Putrefaction compilation. Really cool artwork there. I'll get it out the booklet in a minute so the case is not glaring from the light, which you can probably see there. And there's all of the releases there. I did mention this in one of my chats that I did, but I never showed it in a collection update, and I thought, let's show it in this video. So I've had this since 2020 or 2021. I can't remember when he sent me this now, but somewhere between those 2 years. This CD, and sorry, my shadow of my hand's blocking there, and there's the guys in there, and Ken did the vocals and Ted did all the instruments. And I'll get all the CD. And here is, oh yeah, thank yous list, and I'm in there, but there's so many in there, but I am one of many, along with Liam, the Death Doom Metalhead, who told me that I got mentioned in this booklet, and it's before I changed the name of my channel to Jake's Metal Chat. And here is artworks from the other on those releases on this compilation, and some Mark Relic artwork right there, which did his logo and also mine as well. So a big thank you to him for doing that, as always. And let's actually get the CD out quickly before I get on to the last CD that he sent me. CD there, and you can see the camera and a bit of my room right there. So that is the first CD he sent me, and this is the second one, which is called Ken's Death Metal Crypt OSDM Volume 1, and it is this beast, which has 4 bands on it, which consist of Morstice from the UK, Genital Grinder from Italy, Morgue from Sweden, and Midian from the Netherlands. And there's the list there. So 1 to 7 is Morstice, 8 to 10 is Genital Grinder, 11 to 15 is Morgue, 16 to 20 is Midian. And I might have said that fast, so I do apologize. And there is the CD, which looks like a vinyl. And we could actually have CDs like that for, other releases as well, not just like stuff like this, but for bands as well to release when they have CDs. Because it's really cool. I like it. And of course, the bands are on the back. All great bands, very underground, very underrated in my opinion. So I will list them all down in the description below, as well as the bands that I will be talking about now. And also in that package, quickly, is this for when he had his channel, and I will actually be sticking that up somewhere. And of course, the man behind the artwork, Mr. Mark Riddick, as well as more Mark Riddick stuff here, artwork, which this one I will stick up on the wall as well. This one too. And I think there's some more stuff somewhere, or this might have been it. Stuff right there. Fed Zombie, check out that band as well, link in the description too, because they have been mentioned on the channel. And there's the man himself, as well as Repeat Death, very autopsy sounding death metal. Do check out this release if you haven't yet, which has been released on Ken's channel, so definitely check that out. Now let's get on to the releases that are on these two cassettes, and I have my notes right here. But let's talk about volume 9 first, of course. We have on here Victimized from Poland, Pollution from Italy, Kadath from Germany, and Divine Death from Brazil. I hope I said the German band's name right, because it sounds like, yeah, Kadath. Kadath. I'll say, yeah, Kadath. I'll say Kadath. As you know, pronunciation's not the best. Before I show the cassette, let's show the J card. Put my notes down on the ground, and I'll pick them back up in a minute. Of course, the artwork. Of course, I've mentioned Mark Riddick already, but I'm going to mention him again because his artwork is just killer. And of course, you've got Riffs from the Crypt there, the bands there, as well as all the bands there and the releases. Now, the first one, which is on the A side of the cassette, is the only album released by Victimized, which is, of course, their self-titled debut. Well, the only album that the self-titled release. And what a release it is. And here is the cassette, which has Victimized there. And the next bands that I'll be talking about as well. So we have Pollution, Kadath, and Divine Death. But let's talk about Victimized from Poland. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of the place that they are from. So let's get these guys up here now. So, yes, they formed in 1992. They are melodic death metal, and with my notes, I added that in there. Solid guitar, bass, drums, great vocals, and it's very melodic, and of course, with that heavy sound, just to balance it all together. It's 10 tracks overall. 11 tracks overall, and just really, really cool, underrated, underground death metal, melodic death metal from these guys. And if you've not heard of these bands, well, all these bands here will be in the description below, because obviously with enough looking on YouTube, you will be able to find these releases. It's going to take a while, but it'll all be down there. Don't worry. But definitely check out the self-titled release by Victimized. Really cool, heavy, melodic death metal, and just solid, like I said, solid guitar work, bass and drums, and just an overall satisfying album to start off this cassette right here. To start off volume 9 of Riffs from the Crypt. Now, on the B side, so Victimized had all of the A side to themselves. So for the B side, we have Pollution from Italy, and they are still currently going. Victimized, I have no idea when they split up. It just said 92 to question mark, so whenever. They got no album out as of yet because they did split up in 1995. They were called Pollution Mass from 91 to 94, and then split up in 95 after being Pollution for a year, and then reformed in 2008 and are still going to this day. And this here is their Daylight demo from 1994, which was obviously the second demo they released, and they do have a single out called His Number from 2008. So they haven't released an album yet. Let's hope they're making an album because I'd love to hear it. This has 4 tracks overall, solid death metal with savage guitars, bass, and drums. A death thrash metal style of vocals. That's what I got from this. Definitely that death thrash sound. It's growls and very harsh, raspy style vocals you would get from a lot of death thrash metal bands, but also a bit melodic as well. Not overly melodic, but I put here quite melodic, but very much heavy. So it's heavy, but also melodic bits that I got from some of the songs here. So overall, again, great underground, underrated death metal right here. Like I said, they're still going today, and let's hope they are making their long-awaited debut album, because I'd love to hear that. Now on to the next band here, and these guys are brutal death metal grindcore, and that is Kadath from Germany. They are not going anymore because they split up back in 2005, formed in 1992 under Catalepsy. And of course, there was a band from the UK by that same name, which had Nicholas Barker on drums, which then changed the name to Monolith. But this band were called that, and then from 93 to 2005, they were called Kadath. And I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. So yeah, this has there we go, 3 tracks overall. I was going to read the one after this, and what I got from this: brutal from the get-go. It's brutal death metal grindcore. It's very grindy. I didn't put that in the notes, but very grindy. Vocals, all instruments, just great. Overall, nasty, underground, again, underrated death metal right here. Brutal death metal, early death metal. Yeah, early brutal death metal, might I add there. And there's a lot of those bands, like early brutal death. So I mentioned on the chats with Ken, Embalmed, who he put on his channel. That's early brutal death, and and Boiling Humans demo, really cool demo if you haven't checked it out yet. And Deeds of Flesh, brutal death, but very technical. A little bit technical, I think, as well with this release. This is their promo from 1996. They did release 2 albums, one in 1999 and one in 2000. And 1999's album is Cruel, and the 2002 album, the last album, is Chasing the Devil, which I will actually be checking out a little bit later on after I had some food, of course. But again, just solid old school underground brutal death metal. If you love your brutal death metal, I highly recommend these guys to you if you're more onto that side of death metal as opposed to the more old school sound of death metal. More into the brutal technical side with the more lower growls and more lower growls of death metal. This is more for you. Now let's get on to the last band on this cassette before we get on to volume 10. And this is Divine Death from Brazil. And they're still going. And they formed back in 1990. So they've been a band for 34 years. And they only got one album out, which is their self-titled debut, which I will also be listening to. And a band I never heard of. And these are bands he never actually, this is bands Ken's never put on his channel. And this release I'm talking about is called Eurynomos, Prince of Death, demo from 1994. And this only has 2 tracks. And it's 2 tracks of just very like heavy death metal, blasting drums, crunchy guitars, intense, crunchy guitars and bass, and intense killer vocals. Just a solid release right here. And of course, with this release, hearing that, it's only 2 tracks, but 2 tracks that really just say what style of metal these guys are playing, definitely. And if that and this demo heavy, I'm wondering what the debut is going to be like. The only album to be the only album to be released. And like I said about Pollution, they haven't got an album out yet, but let's see what that. But I can't wait for that. If they are working on one, who knows? Divine Death might be working on something new. But on this demo, I know there's only 2 tracks, but it's 2 tracks of just intense, nasty, heavy underground death metal. Very cool stuff right there. Now, let's get on to the next band. This is on volume 10, which I'll do the cassette first. Just get out this page so you can see. There we go. So once again, Apathy, Ligament, Anthagonist, Cemetery, and Crematorium. And as last time with the J card, the artwork, the name of the bands there, Riffs from the Crypt Volume 10, artwork by Mark Riddick, and the logo, of course, did that, and the bands and the releases and who's on which side of the tape. So, like I said, 4 bands on volume 9. And let's see if I can try and get this back in. There we go. And only 4 back and 5 bands on this one. And let's get back to the bands in question. So who do we have on side A of this cassette? So we have Apathy from the UK. They are from Northern Ireland. And they are doom death, which is why I put here with my notes. So this is their Lack of Emotion EP from 1993. And what a good, no, excellent sounding EP this is. 5 tracks overall. Great guitars, bass and drums, solid vocals, and overall excellent doom death. It's very atmospheric, I think, as well. And, especially when you listen to like Death Doom, Doom Death, Funeral Doom, Funeral Death Doom, Funeral Doom Death, whichever. They have that level of atmosphere, and that definitely has it on this release. Definitely has that dark atmospheric tone right there. And if you're more into your doom death metal, you're more into that side of death metal, the more slower, heavier, atmospheric, dark sounding death metal, as opposed to like just full on blast beats, guttural vocals. This is more for you. And a band that are no longer going, they formed in 1992, but not a clue when they actually split up. And I don't think the other members of the bands are in other. Oh no, wait. One is, but one was a member of that band for a while. So that was Apathy. And like I said, all these releases will be in the description below. It's just find them and put them in the description below. So that's what we'll be doing when I'm getting this video up and out on my channel. Next is Ligament from Sweden, and this is the only release they ever did, and they formed in '92. Not entirely sure when they split up, and I don't think, and I didn't check this with the other guys from the other bands. Okay, one is currently in a couple of bands. The other member, who was the vocalist, is currently not, and the drummer is. So there we go. So this is a demo from 1992. 3 tracks, dark, evil sounding death metal, heavy sound. So that heavy, dark, evil sounding death metal. I don't know why I put heavy sounding in the notes. That goes with everything, the vocals, the instruments, and it's got a very dark, atmospheric opening to the first track, which then just goes straight into it. This is not HM2 so death metal, but either way, I mean, I love my chainsaw sounding death metal, as you know, because I've mentioned it so many times. But it's cool to find bands that don't always do that, and I found a lot of Swedish bands that don't do the HM2 sound. They go for more of a European sound, or when I mean European sound, like bands from France and Germany and uh, the Netherlands and bands like that. So they go for more that side of death metal, so more bands on that side. Or they might go to more of American sound, or they might do a British sound. Who knows? It's whatever fits with what they're writing at that time. And what these guys were going with was just a evil, dark, atmospheric sound, and it is. And it definitely shows on this demo. So definitely one for you guys to check out yourselves. Next up is a band from Canada called Anthagonist. But this has a H in it, so I don't know if I have to say a H when I say this, but I'm just saying Anthagonist. They formed in 1987 to 1993. So formed in 1987, split up in 1993. And they never released an album, but they released 3 demos. And the one that I'm talking about here is the one that Ken put on the cassette, is Perpetual Beginning demo from 1992. So the first one was 1989, second one was 1989, and this was their last demo before they split up a year later. What do you get with this demo? You get 5 tracks. The vocals, instruments all blend very well together. It's heavy. It's just what you get from you need in death metal. That heavy, nasty. Was like when I mean heavy, nasty, I mean like very cavernous sounding death metal, so like Crypt and Undergang, just to name a couple. These guys here, just heavy, solid death metal right here, which for a lot of these bands is all solid death metal right here. And these guys never heard them before, and they were never on this channel. So I got bands that no one else has probably heard ever, or has not heard of it ever. Well, going back to not ever heard the releases or even of the bands, or have heard them but haven't heard them in such a long time. And it's a great release. It's a really cool cool release here, and obviously a lot of these demos will be really hard to find, but knowing Kenny would have got this back in the day, either from a gig, a lot of these from a gig or tape trading. And overall, great demo right there. Now let's get on to the last two bands here for this cassette. And this is Cemetery from France. And they changed their name to Garden of Silence in 1992. They were Doom Deaf, but then since split up and after recording their EP in 1993 under that name. But for when they were called Cemetery, they only did one release, and that is Engulfed in Obscurity. And that demo is from 1991. And this has 3 tracks overall. Dark, fast, heavy, and it's a bit thrashy as well. I definitely got that thrashy sound from it. And of course, when they changed their name to Garden of Silence, went for more the doom side of death metal. So a lot different from the fast style that you get from this demo. But like I said, if I can find all these demos, they'll all be in these releases, all be in the description below, and you can make up your own conclusions, like your own thoughts on what you thought of these albums. These are my thoughts, as you know. But overall, yeah, some thrashy, dark, fast, heavy death metal right here, and yeah, really cool release right here. Really cool, really cool, and it's a shame with some of these bands that they never stuck around long enough to do like an album, but some just do demos or singles, promos, and do a couple EPs. And a lot of stuff is like solid stuff. And for those who love death metal, like underground death metal, like me, and those who are watching, you'd be like, it'd be cool if those bands did those, and yeah, it would be, because a lot of them are very talented. And for this next one, they only did this one release, and of course, I'm talking about Crematorium from Uruguay, which I never thought there would be metal from Uruguay or other countries, like, like one of my favorite bands is Overthrust from Botswana. I didn't think there would be bands like death metal, thrash metal from certain places. I like from there. So like, yeah, Overthrust from Botswana. I thought never pictured there to be metal from that side of the world, but there is, and a lot of those bands I've heard, and they are really good, excellent sounding bands. And blanking on the other countries that I was thinking of. The one band that I know, Bloodrust, is from the Falkland Islands. The only band from there actually, and check them out as well. But this band you should definitely check out as well. All be down there. Hopefully, I'll have them all down there. This is In My Mind demo from 1992, and this is the only release they did, and there's no start date to when they formed or when they split up. They are death thrash, and some quite melodic death thrash as well. So there's 2 tracks. It's a great blend of death and thrash metals, or death thrash, and it's quite melodic as well, and just a great sounding demo. And I mean, half of these like when you hear demos, a lot of the production will be a bit uh, off at times because the quality of it might sound a bit quiet, or some instruments might be turned up. I mean, some releases may have they may have gone to studios where they just didn't know how to do metal, and some of them might sound different from others. But with this one, yeah, it's a great sounding demo. I could hear everything, all the vocals, the guitars, the bass, and the drums. And yeah, and just a big well done to all these bands for all these releases that they released. Very, very well done to them. And of course, like I said, I'm going to be checking out a lot more bands from, yeah, because finding bands from countries that you never think there would be metal. So Uruguay, I will be definitely hunting down a lot more bands there. And my overall thoughts on all of them, they're all great, they're all unique, they're all excellent, unique in their own little ways. Like I said, some productions will sound better than other productions on some of these releases. Unless you don't mind a bit of a rough, muddier production of certain releases. I mean, I don't mind that sometimes, but when I hear a certain release, I'm like, okay, I like this production more because it sounds better than this production. And I was looking at this list and I'm thinking, well, sorry, there's three tracks on the In My Mind demo because the other one was on there. Sorry, so my bad. And so the In My Mind demo by Crematorium has three tracks overall and three tracks of some great death thrash right there. Um, Completely forgot that one was on there because I looked at it and thought there was only two tracks, and I read it as I first got this list. But no, there's three tracks overall. So, but like I said, there's some here that only had like, yeah, the Divine Death demo that only had two tracks, and a few of them here. So actually, so Kadath and Ligament and Cemetery and Crematorium all have three tracks, and they're all very different from each other, and just just brilliant stuff right here. And check them out down below, and let me know what you think in the comments below. And that is it for this video for Riffs from the Crypt. And I like to thank Ken once again for sending these to me. He did send a letter which I'm not going to show because that's a little thing just for me. And yeah, just a big thank you again for sending these two cassettes right here. Two excellent releases, two excellent sides of death metal, and just again, thank you for having your channel, having all these bands, for the good portion of which I knew, good portion of which I didn't. Thank you for being on my channel twice, once for just a pre-recorded chat and for the live stream chat. And most importantly, Ken, thank you for being my friend. It means a lot, and I hope to meet you sometime next year. And, you know, meet up, grab a beer, and just have a good chat. And finally meet in person. And you will always be the death metal guru to me. And that is just why you are the death metal guru, because you know your death metal too damn well. And for those who love their death metal, you got some more new bands to check out yourselves. So thank you very much for tuning in. Do all the usual stuff like share, comment, subscribe to the channel. More videos to come soon, more Metal Vault videos, more the other collection videos I got planned. And most importantly, keep that banner of death metal well and truly high. I've been Jake and Jake's Metal Chat, and I will see you in the next one.